So if we need to find the terminal point on the unit circle, determined by pi over 4 radians, okay, what you want to find is sine. I can't type it in here. You want to find sine and cosine. Okay, and I actually was saying that and probably misled you. Sorry, cosine is the x coordinate. Okay, so if you find cosine of pi over 4, you found the x coordinate of the terminal point on the unit circle. Oops. And then sine is the y coordinate. Find cosine of pi over 4. Cosine of pi over 4. Make that bigger so it's easier to see. If you draw your right triangle, I mean, you can first convert pi over 4 to degrees, right? And a quick trick for converting from radians to degrees is to cut the pi out. So now you just have 1/4, 1 divided by 4, and then multiply the fraction to 180. So cosine pi over 4 is equal to cosine of 45 degrees. Okay, so if you draw a 45-degree triangle, and you do what you've done in previous topics here, you draw the 45-degree triangle, both sides have a square root of 2 over 2 ratio. They have a square root of 2 over 2 side length because we're talking about triangles drawn in the unit circle. So cosine of 45 degrees is going to be square root of 2 over 2 because the adjacent divided by the hypotenuse is square root of 2 over 2 divided by 1. Okay, so we just found out that this is square root of 2 over 2. And again, if you had trouble with where I came up with that square root of 2 over 2, you'll want to go back and check out a previous topic. Okay, I forget what they call it in Alex. Solving problems in trigonometry. Problem type 1 and probably type 3, I think, are what we do in this class. But you do the same thing to find out the y coordinate. Okay, you find out what sine pi over 4 is. Okay, and again, we already found out pi over 4 is 45 degrees. So if you draw a 45-degree angle in the unit circle, which means the hypotenuse is 1, then the other two side lengths have to be square root of 2 over 2. So sine is the opposite divided by the hypotenuse, which is 1. Okay, so square root of 2 over 2 again for sine. So final answer here is square root of 2 over 2. Okay, they both happen to be the same. Let's try one where they're not going to be the same. Okay, we'll start off the same thing with this one. If you need to convert 2 pi over 3 to degrees, if that helps you, cut out the pi, so now it's just 2 over 3, and then multiply that to 180. Okay, so 120 degrees. So we want cosine of 120 degrees. And maybe I can draw this one out to help with the triangle here. So 120 degrees, if you draw it in the unit circle, 120 degrees lands you right around here. Remember, this is the initial side, and there's 90 degrees, so 120 is a little bit more than 90. Okay, so there's your line. You always draw a triangle with the x-axis. Okay, make it a right triangle. The hypotenuse is 1 because we drew it in the unit circle. And so now this is where, one last step actually, sorry. If this is 120 degrees, this has to be 60 degrees in here, right? Because we're trying to talk about 180 degrees. 180 degrees makes a semicircle. Okay, so now that we know that, this is a part where memorizing certain triangles can be helpful. Okay, if you're talking about a hypotenuse of 1, then square root of 3 over 2 is always opposite of a 60-degree angle. Okay? So if it's a 60-30 triangle, one side is square root of 3 over 2, and then one side is going to be 1/2, okay? Oh, I'm having a really hard time drawing with this thing, I'm sorry. And now that we got the triangle labeled, we can answer the cosine ratio. Cosine is the adjacent, which is a negative 1/2, right? Because we went on the negative side of the x-axis. The adjacent divided by the hypotenuse. So cosine of 120 degrees is negative 1/2. And then sine is the y coordinate. So sine of 120 degrees, so look at your triangle here. That's square root of 3 over 2, a positive square root of 3 over 2 because we went up on the y-axis, right? Square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1. So this is square root of 3 over 2. Okay, hopefully that helps. If you're not sure where I kept coming up with like square root of 2 over 2 or square root of 3 over 2, you're going to want to practice those trigonomic problems from before, okay? But otherwise, that's the big thing you need for this. To find a terminal point in the unit circle, cosine is the x-coordinate, sine is the y-coordinate.